Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that sounds like science fiction, but it's happening right now, the fight against cancer, and how it's being supercharged by artificial intelligence.
38.4 days. Think about that for a second. According to a major study, that's how long it takes, on average, for experts to create a personalized cancer treatment plan after they already have all the patient's genetic data. Over a month.
So in an age where we can get information instantly, why on earth does this still take so long? Well, that's the big question, right? And the answer is actually leading to a total revolution in how we treat cancer. Today, we're going to explore how AI is poised to just completely smash that timeline and reshape the future of cancer care.
All right, so to really get how AI fits into all this, we've got to first understand the big roadblock, the bottleneck that precision medicine is hitting right now.
Okay, so the whole idea behind precision medicine is actually pretty straightforward. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, you treat the specific genetic glitches driving a person's cancer. Simple in theory, right? But in reality, it's a massive challenge. We are drowning in data from genetic sequencing. I mean, mountains of it. The real problem, the bottleneck, is the painstaking manual work it takes for a team of brilliant humans to sift through all that raw code and figure out, okay, what does this actually mean for this one patient?
And this is where our new character enters the story, a powerful new tool. And I want to be really clear here. It's not here to replace doctors. Think of it more like a tireless, brilliant assistant that never needs to sleep.
So you can see how machine learning just slots right into the existing process. It takes that grueling, weeks-long manual review and turns it into this sleek, automated analysis. The goal here isn't to take over, it's to supercharge the experts. It's about augmenting their incredible skills, helping them see more, move faster, and be even more accurate.
Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? Let's follow the journey of the data, right from the very beginning, decoding a tumor's unique genetic blueprint.
Before you can hit a target, you've got to find it. And in this case, the targets are all the tiny genetic typos, the variants, that make a cancer cell go rogue. So the first step is spotting those differences. You can think of it like running a super advanced spell check on your genes, and in the field, this is called variant calling.
Now this is where things get really cool. The old way of doing this used a bunch of pre-written statistical rules, kind of rigid. But the new machine learning models, like Google's Deep Variant, do something completely different. They treat the raw DNA data like a picture. They literally learn to see the variants, just like an AI learns to recognize a cat in a photo. And this shift from following rules to recognizing patterns has led to these massive jumps in both speed and accuracy. And that, for patients, is a really, really big deal.
And it gets even better. The AI doesn't just stop at finding the typos, it goes deeper. From the exact same data, it can also spot these really complex patterns, these biomarkers, that tell doctors if a patient might be a good candidate for powerful treatments like immunotherapy. Think about that. You get way more answers from a single test, and when you're dealing with a tiny, precious biopsy sample, that efficiency is absolutely critical.
Okay, but here's the thing. For any AI to become a true expert, it has to go to school. It needs to study. And in medicine, its textbook is a massive, massive library of patient data.
And this is such a key point. You've probably heard of ImageNet, right? That giant database of pictures that basically taught computers how to see, this is a cat, this is a car. Well, the exact same idea applies here. We need an ImageNet for cancer. And that's what projects like AACR's Project Genie are building, a huge dataset from almost 200,000 patients that can teach an AI to recognize the subtle patterns of cancer.
Of course, sharing sensitive medical data is tricky, as it should be. And there are basically three ways to go about it. First, you've got isolated learning. Every hospital just uses its own data. It's super private, but the learning pool is pretty small. Then there's centralized learning, where everyone pools their data into one giant database. Great for learning, but more complex for privacy. But then there's this third way, called federated learning, and this is really clever. Instead of the data traveling to the AI model travels to the data. It goes to each hospital, learns what it can, and brings the lessons back, but the patient data itself never leaves the hospital's firewall. It's like a perfect balance of privacy and power.
All right, so when you combine all this learning power with all this data, you get to what might be the most exciting, most futuristic application of all, finding a patient's molecular twin.
Seriously, this is kind of the holy grail of personalized medicine. The idea is called patient similarity, and it's about going way beyond looking for just one or two genetic markers. It's about finding other patients who are, on a deep, fundamental molecular level, just like you. I mean, just imagine if your doctor could look up every single patient with a profile almost identical to yours, and then see exactly which treatments work best for them.
So how does it do that? Well, the AI creates this incredibly rich, holistic profile of every single patient. It's not just looking at a couple of genes. No, it's combining the whole shebang, all the genomic data, the person's clinical history, what treatments they've had, and, this is the most important part, how they actually responded to that.
So here's the payoff. A new patient comes in, the AI takes their profile, compares it to this massive universe of other patients, and finds their nearest neighbors, their molecular twins. It can then go to the doctor and say, hey look, historically patients with a profile almost identical to this one responded really well to this specific therapy. This is an absolute game changer, especially for people with rare cancers or tumors that don't have those common, well-known mutations.
Okay, so we have this incredibly powerful technology. The next, and probably the most important question is, how do we make sure we use it safely and responsibly?
And let's just say it one more time, loud and clear. This is not about replacing doctors. It's about creating the ultimate man-machine partnership. The AI's job is to crunch the data, to find patterns at a scale that's just impossible for the human brain. It generates hypotheses, but it's the doctor, the clinician, who brings the real-world context, the deep expertise, and who makes the final decision. They're the ones ensuring the quality and, just as importantly, the humanity of the care.
You know, for doctors to trust these tools, they can't be a mysterious black box. It's not enough for the AI to just spit out an answer. The oncologist needs to understand why it's making a certain recommendation. And that's why these ground rules are so critical. The AI has to be explainable. It has to be tested again and again on all kinds of different data to make sure it's not biased. And always, it has to have a human expert double-checking its work.
So when you step back and look at it all, this stuff isn't science fiction anymore. It's really happening. It's starting to arrive in clinics right now. And it gives us this incredible opportunity to make cancer care faster, smarter, and more deeply personal than we ever thought possible. The code is written, the data is there, so the real question left for all of us is, are we ready?